Hello and welcome to this edition of Youth Worker Training. Today we're going to talk about safety tips for small groups. The safety of your small group needs to be your top priority. You can never be too safe when students are around. It is important to have boundaries and guidelines to keep all activities safe. We must remember that these are little treasures and they're not ours, they're somebody else's, and they are entrusted to us. So we want to um, help parents feel secure when they send their students to a youth event, a program, or with you on a small group activity. All right, so number one is developing detailed plans. Times, places, and activities should be planned ahead of time. Planning helps us consider the appropriateness of activities ahead of time and keeps us from doing less wise things on the spur of the moment. So, taking kids last minute to a PG-13 movie as you're hanging out um, probably isn't wise. There can be some PG-13 movies are worse than R, and if you don't preview those and know ahead of time, um, then you might get yourself in a bad situation. Not to mention, you have to have parent permission in viewing PG-13 and above, regardless. Um, so yeah, just make sure you make plans ahead of time and let me know about them. All right, next is inform parents. Even if many parents trust you implicitly and don't ask for the details, give them anyway. Hand out flyers listing times, places, activities, and phone numbers. Be completely open. The trust this will build with parents is invaluable. Give them your cell phone, text, Facebook. We've got all kinds of mediums for communication with parents and keeping them in the loop. Minister in groups. There are times when one-on-one contact are appropriate, but generally speaking, ministry should be a group activity. That means more than one kid should be present and more than one adult if you go beyond 5 students. The point is to share the load and protect one another. Just having that accountability is important and huge and protect students. Next, be all business when it comes to transportation. We don't need car-related fun. We have plenty of fun in other areas. Given the risks and liabilities involved, we basically should be all business in this area. So keeping speeds down, no Chinese fire drills. I had a scary event with one of those early on as an intern. Not a good idea. No racing or letting kids drive. Basically follow all normal traffic laws. This is not a time to race or show off. But be all about business. This also includes use of cell phone. There's to be no use of cell phones by leaders while driving students on student events. I talk on the cell phone with my family and my kids in the car, but I'm not going to make that decision for other parents. So we just say no whatsoever using your cell phone while you're driving a vehicle. You can assign a co-pilot and let a student answer the phone and take a message if need be, or pull over and find a safe place to have that conversation. All right. Next, avoid questionable appearances. Avoid being alone with students of the opposite sex. If driving a mixed group home, take the same-sex student home last, even if it's out of the way. This is to be avoided to avoid any kinds of accusations, and it's for your protection and the child's protection. This is our child protection policy. You are not allowed to be on one-on-one with the opposite sex in your vehicle or in a room where there's not a window or somebody knowing about your meeting. And for the most part, aside from the youth pastor and point leader, you need to be ministering specifically to your gender student. So hopefully made that clear. All right, next. Take illnesses and injuries serious. When a student gets sick or hurt, stop and give care, even if you don't think it's serious. Take loving and appropriate action. Um, if there's an illness or an injury, I need to know about that. The point leader in charge needs to know about that so we can file a report. And if you think that they're faking it, you've got to take it seriously, and we'll follow up with the parents if we think there's some hypochondriac thing going on, and we'll take care of that and have a plan. Make accurate accounts. Always get a head count of students under your care. Even if you are just driving a carload of students, Never leave the parking lot without making a count, especially when there's multiple cars being used and a student, maybe one student says, oh, they drove with somebody else or they're in another car. You need to make sure you know and understand for sure who is under your care and who is last in your group and your vehicle. Well, this concludes our safety tips for small groups. Thanks for taking time to be a more effective leader and to sharpen your edge as a leader and investing in students' lives. Thanks and have a great day.